Fired by fugitive Edward Snowden when it decided to escape from Washington's National Zoo Monday.
Fed tiger to go on the attack. Tonight, investigators have evidence that may answer both questions.
It's the Egyptian cobra we're talking about, on the run from the Bronx Zoo, now found. And even though we know the cobra actually never left the reptile house, now we know that. She became quite a star, 200,000 plus Twitter followers.
A visit to the zoo is consistently an excellent alternative for a pleasant family action. All things considered, that is the ideal spot to invest some energy encompassed ordinarily, particularly on the off chance that you live in a jam-packed city and you need to see a few creatures in the wild. And I realize a few people today are against the possibility of zoos and they accept animals ought to consistently be free. Yet we need to recollect that there are terrible individuals out there who are probably going to hurt them in the wild, and zoos are attempting their absolute best safeguarding a few animal groups and give them the personal satisfaction that they merit. Anyway, there are a few creatures out there that prevailing with regards to breaking liberated from the man-made conditions and figured out how to get away from the zoo. Today we will be taking a gander at 10 of those wild creatures that got away from their zooms, their getaways, with their networks in alarmed mode as everybody around was hesitant to run into one of these wild creatures. Ensure you stay tuned to watch a definitive animals. Okay, let's get started. Number 10. Rusty the Red Panda. We start in Washington, D.C., where an adventurous red panda caused a social media storm in June 2013. Rusty, who was 11 months old at the time, had recently been moved to the Smithsonian National Zoo when he boldly broke out and spent the day exploring the city. The red pandas are naturally territorial animals. This maverick marched almost a mile away from his usual home until he was eventually spotted a short distance from the zoo gates. Dubbed the People's Panda after the extensive effort on Twitter to locate him, Rusty had settled down to start a family by the following summer. His rebellious youth, however, will never be forgotten. Number 9. The Bronx Zoo Cobra. When an Egyptian cobra went missing from her Bronx Zoo home in 2011, mild panic slithered through New York City. An untreated bite might have killed a human being, so visitors to the zoo were more than a little cautious. But there was really never anything to worry about. The fanged fugitive was found less than a week after escaping, less than 100 feet from her cage. And while zookeepers admitted a slight sense of relief, her handlers were always confident that the snake wouldn't harm anyone. It's believed that the 20-inch cobra slipped through a sliding glass door and retired to the shadows of her reptile house home. The rest is history. Number 8. Goldie the Eagle. 1960s Britain may be best remembered for Beatlemania, but for 2 winter weeks in 1965, the limelight fell elsewhere. Goldie the Golden Eagle evaded his London Zoo handlers in late February, before taking up a temporary residence in nearby Regent's Park until mid-March. The majestic predator was a national celebrity as crowds appeared not every day to see the bird stretch its wings. His 2 weeks on the run were even mentioned in Parliament, getting a cheer during a debate in the House of Commons. Goldie was eventually recaptured, only to flee his nest once more in December of the same year, before his appetite for the outside world was finally satisfied. Number 7. The Tokyo Sea Life Park Penguin. In one of the early 21st century's longest and most successful bids for freedom, Penguin 337 from the Tokyo Sea Life Park eluded its captors for 82 days in 2012. Having jumped a rock more than twice its height before finding a small gap in the aquarium's perimeter fence, the humboldt penguin found fame by making various appearances throughout the Japanese capital, including frequent returns to Tokyo Bay. On one occasion, it even outran the Japanese Coast Guard. The bird's keepers had been concerned that it would not survive the city, but gave it a clean bill of health upon its return. With ample food supply in the surrounding waters, it had clearly been dining in style. Number 6. Bear. A bear named Taps escaped from a zoo in Osnabrück, Germany, in 2017. The bear was quickly shot dead by zoo personnel before it could cause any harm. Police officers rushed to the zoo and assisted in temporarily evacuating the area as well as investigating the animal's escape. Taps was a cappuccino bear that had a brown bear and a polar bear as parents. The animal escaped through a hole in its cage, which led to the staff ushering the visitors into the monkey house for shelter. Reports noted that a second bear remained safely inside its enclosure. Andreas Busemann, the head of the zoo, stated that the team had to react immediately to protect the visitors. So staff members shot the bear before police arrived. Number 5. The Zanesville incident. Sadly, not every escape story is a lighthearted one. The Midwest town of Zanesville, Ohio, was the scene of carnage on the night of October 18, 2011, when Terry Thompson, a collector of exotic animals, recklessly set big cats, bears, wolves and monkeys free before committing suicide. His actions prompted a massive police operation to hunt and kill or capture the escapees, all of which sadly posed a huge risk to the public. The surreal urban safari resulted in the deaths of 49 animals, including 18 tigers, 17 lions, and 6 black bears. As international news channels aired images of the devastation next morning, the story brought global criticism to the doors of local lawmakers. Number 4. The San Francisco tiger attacks. The San Francisco Zoo was closing up on Christmas Day 2007 when it played host to a terrifying escape. Tatiana, a 4-year-old female Siberian tiger who had previously mauled a keeper, was at the center of the incident, which resulted in the death of a visitor and the killing of the animal itself. As you can imagine, it caused quite a controversy. An investigation suggested that Tatiana may have been taunted before she seemingly leapt from her enclosure, while the San Fran Zoo came under fire for falling short of some industry standards. 2 further patrons were injured in the 13-minute attack, which some experts say was a disaster that could have been avoided. Number 3. The Hunsrück kangaroos. For this entry, it's time for a little bit of teamwork. When 3 kangaroos embarked on a Hollywood-style great escape from Hitchwildschutz Park Hunsrück, near Frankfurt in Germany, they enlisted help from the outside. The trio bypassed 2 external fences, not by jumping over them, as might be expected of their bouncing breed, but by tunneling underneath, using holes dug first by a fox and then by a wild boar. The interspecies effort inspired headlines all over the world, with readers marveling at the marsupial's cunning. While 2 of the burrowers were quickly caught, the other continually evaded its pursuers. Meanwhile, the fox and boar accomplices disappeared without a trace. Number 2. Torak the wolf. In January 2018, a Berkshire wolf called Torak fled from the Wolf Conservation Trust site after its enclosure was damaged by strong winds. However, the sanctuary has stated that someone may have left the gate open deliberately. Torak was recaptured 6 hours later. Police said that the wolf had traveled roughly 13 kilometers, 8 mi, before it was caught near a motorway. An expert in capturing animals who was tracking Torak noted that the police would have shot the wolf if it had run onto the motorway. Teresa Palmer, the founder of the sanctuary, assisted with the recapture. She said that someone may have left the gate open on purpose because a lot of people do not believe in holding animals captive. Number 1. Fu Manchu the orangutan. When it comes to escaping, orangutans are extraordinarily good at it. In 1985, one Ken Allen became a superstar at the San Diego Zoo following 3 successful escapes in as many months. In fact, Ken was so good at getting out that other apes began copying him. But today's winner is Fu Manchu, a tricksy resident at Omaha Zoo in the late 60s. Fu frequently busted his family out of their enclosures by reportedly hiding some wire under his lip, which he used to pick the locks on the gate. The ape was so skilled at breaking free, he was even awarded honorary membership to the American Association of Locksmiths,